So it's that time of year again where you traditionally see your family and friends. And what better than to show off with some interesting facts about Christmas? So here's some bizarre facts that you can show off with. The legend of the Christmas spider is an Eastern European folktale which supposedly explains the origin of tinsel on Christmas trees. It is most prevalent in Ukraine, where small ornaments in the shape of a spider, pavuki literally means little spider, are traditionally a part of the Christmas tree decorations. The story goes, a poor but hard-working widow once lived in a small hut with her children. One summer day, a pine cone fell on the earthen floor of the hut and took root. The widow's children cared for the tree, excited at the prospect of having a Christmas tree by winter. The tree grew, but when Christmas Eve arrived, they could not afford to decorate it. The children sadly went to bed and fell asleep. Early the next morning, they woke up and saw the tree covered with cobwebs. When they opened the windows, the first rays of sunlight touched the webs and turned them into gold and silver. The widow and her children were overjoyed. From then on, they never lived in poverty again. Evergreens, from the Old English word "eiphi" meaning always, and "goan" meaning to grow, have been a symbol of eternal life and rebirth since ancient times. The pagan use and worship of evergreen boughs and trees have evolved into the Christianized Christmas tree. A Yule log is an enormous log that is typically burned during the 12 days of Christmas, December 25th to January 6th. Some scholars suggest that the word Yule means revolution or wheel, which symbolizes the cyclical return of the sun. A burning log or its charred remains is said to offer health, fertility, and luck, as well as the ability to ward off evil spirits. Christmas has its roots in pagan festivals such as Saturnalia, December 17th to December 23rd, the Kalends, January 1st to 5th, the precursor to the 12 days of Christmas, and Deus Sol Invictus, or Birthday of the Unconquerable Sun, December 25th. The Christian Church heartily disapproved of such celebrations and co-opted the pagans by declaring December 25th as Christ's day of birth, though there is no evidence Christ was born on that day. Legend credits the Protestant reformer Martin Luther with inventing the Christmas tree. The story has little historical basis. The most likely theory is that Christmas trees started with medieval plays. Dramas depicting biblical themes began as part of the church's worship, but by the late Middle Ages, they had become rowdy, imaginative performances dominated by lay people and taking place in the open air. The plays celebrating the Nativity were linked to the story of creation, in part because Christmas Eve was also considered a feast day of Adam and Eve. Thus, as part of the play for that day, the Garden of Eden was symbolized by a paradise tree, which hung with fruit. These plays were banned in many places in the 16th century, and people perhaps began to set up paradise trees in their homes to compensate for the public celebration they could no longer enjoy. The earliest Christmas trees, or evergreen branches, used in homes were referred to as paradises. These were often hung with round, pastry wafers, symbolizing the Eucharist, which developed into the cookie ornaments decorating German Christmas trees today. The letter X in Greek is the first letter of Christ, and Xmas has been used as an abbreviation for Christmas since mid-1500s. In Germany, HEILIGABEND, or Christmas Eve, is said to be a magical time when the pure in heart can hear animals talking. The Viking god Odin is one precursor to the modern Santa Claus. According to myth, Odin rode his flying horse, Sleipnir, a precursor to Santa's reindeer, who had 8 legs. In the winter, Odin gave out both gifts and punishments, and children would fill their boots or stockings with treats for Sleipnir. The Nazi Party tried to turn Christmas into a non-religious holiday, celebrating the coming of Hitler, with St. Nicholas replaced by Odin, the solstice man, and swastikas on top of Christmas trees. Late on Christmas Eve 1914, during World War I, men of the British Expeditionary Force heard German troops in the trenches opposite them singing carols and patriotic songs, and saw lanterns and small fir trees along their trenches. Messages began to be shouted between the trenches. The following day, German and British soldiers met in no man's land and exchanged gifts, took photographs, and some played impromptu games of football. They also buried casualties and repaired trenches and dugouts. After Boxing Day, meetings in no man's land dwindled out. In the long-running debate of real versus fake, real trees have been crowned the more eco-friendly choice. In fact, a 2009 study by Montreal consulting firm Ellipsis showed that an artificial tree would have to be reused more than 20 years to be greener than buying a fresh-cut real Christmas tree every year. Thanks to a successful marketing campaign 40 years ago, Japanese people traditionally eat KFC for Christmas dinner. KFC is so popular that customers must place their Christmas orders 2 months in advance. So, if you want to celebrate Christmas Japanese style, just go visit your local KFC during Christmas. Anyway, if you enjoyed this week's list and learned something new, leave a like. And if you want to see another list of more facts, click here for my 30 Star Wars facts you may not know, which contains no spoilers to the new movie.